The clashes between police and protesters have been going on for months now. Tonight, we're hearing from some of the officers on the front lines. Fox 12's Drew Reeves shares their experiences.
Portland has been the center of national attention for the protests that have occurred every single night since late May. Officers we're hearing from say that over the past few months, they've experienced some of the lowest points in their careers. Night after night, Portlanders rally in downtown to protest racial injustice. But police officers say that message is getting lost in the violence. They say over the past several months, the hate directed at them has been extreme. One of those occasions, one officer says, was at the Portland Police Association building when protesters targeted female officers.
And they were just saying some of the most vile things to them, talking about sexually assaulting them, talking about how they were, sex objects for all the other officers, on the squad. I would say that's, down in the one of the lowest, worst nights of my career.
Officer Rihanna Carriage has also been in the midst of protests after learning her unit, the gun violence reduction team, was being eliminated.
Coming to work in an area where I don't necessarily work and then getting to be downtown, dealing with which I don't want to call them protesters down here, but the people that are actively trying to destroy and create division, and it is very hard.
Officers say they've found themselves working exhaustive hours and dealing with incredibly difficult situations the past several months. They also say these protests have impacted their ability to do their jobs.
The amount of resources available to actually deal with the calls is extremely limited, and I have seen calls throughout the last couple months that have held for, a day. Because there's just nobody to go.
And Officer Carriage says she's watched these protests tear police families apart.
Family members are not speaking to each other. Lines are being drawn in the sand, essentially, and people are cutting each other off.
So when it comes to solving that division, Carriage says people need to really take the time to have conversations.
It needs to be smaller. It needs to be maybe one-on-one. And we need to be able to listen to another perspective without interruption, without disagreeing, just listen.
But Sergeant Maxey says the solution will come with louder support for the police.
I think more of those people that are showing support need to step up and speak out against it. And I really think that's how we're going to get through this.
Sergeant Maxey also addressed the use of tear gas at protests. He said that the police use it when they feel protesters are creating a possibly life-threatening situation, and it's the safest option for dispersing a crowd. Reporting in downtown Portland, Drew Reeves, Fox 12 Oregon.